Hey, welcome to Chapter 3. I'm glad you've taken the time to work your way this far through the book. At the end of each chapter, just a quick reminder, are the two questions that are going to help you put the material from that chapter into practical use. So I encourage you, if you haven't done them in the previous two chapters, go back and do them for this chapter as well. It's going to help make everything that we're talking about much more practical to your situation. It's going to make it personal for you. What would happen if someone would walk into your office or onto your job site or into your shop and demand that you give them your cell phone? They just demanded, they weren't carrying a gun, didn't have a knife or a weapon of any kind. They didn't even threaten you, but they just said, you need to give me your cell phone right now. Well, we'd look at them like they were crazy. And if somebody asked to do the same with our wallet, demanded our wallet without a weapon or anything like that, we'd look at them like they were crazy. But we do that with something much more valuable than our cell phones or our wallets. And that one thing that we give away so willingly, because we're willing to give it away constantly to whoever asks for it, is our time. Our time is far more valuable, especially, our time is very important. And as a leader, we only have so much time that we can give to the people that we're leading and to the people who are demanding our time, because we have a finite amount of time. Time is not something that we can take a mulligan on. Well, you know, yesterday didn't work out so well, so I'm going to redo it. There's that old movie, Groundhog Day, where the main character keeps repeating the same day over and over and over and over and gets a new run at it every single day. That's not how our lives work. We don't get a mulligan. We don't get a redo if we don't like how today turned out. So what we need to do is take control of our time, and that's what this chapter is about. And I'm going to give you a tool that has actually made a tremendous difference in my life, in not just in my professional life, in my career, but also in my personal life. It's made a difference. It's helped me make sure that I don't miss the things that are very important to me, or the things that other people are expecting me to do that I've already committed to. And one of my first bosses, maybe my first boss as an adult, he took me aside and he realized that I really struggled with basically basic administration. And I wasn't able to keep track of the different appointments that I was making, and so I was missing them. And people were getting upset with me. He gave me this tool and he showed me how to use it. And I put it into practice right away. And I haven't stopped using it in just about 30 years. And it's made a huge difference. Now, you might say, Todd, you're naturally administrative. No, I'm not. You're naturally organized. No, I'm not. And if you're not, that's fine. In fact, that's great, because you're going to relate a lot better to what I'm talking about. If you're naturally organized, this is going to seem very simple to you. But for those of us who aren't naturally organized and administrative, this is a real life-saving tool in many ways, especially in our careers. So I'm going to just shift positions here, and we're going to take a look together. And I'm going to show you what this tool is that I've been talking about. So let's move over for just a second. Okay, so here's the tool I was talking about. If you look at the cover, what you're going to see is it's just a simple day planner. And most of us have seen these before. You can buy them at the beginning of the year, anytime through the year, but they're always on display at the beginning of the year when there's a turnover in the calendar dates from one year to the next. But what this does is it gives you a breakdown, and I like using the one, and this is the one I'll recommend to you. It has a week on one page and a blank page on the opposing side for notes. Now here's how this works. So the dates are all here with the days, and it's done for usually 13 months. But you're not going to restrict yourself that way to only a month or two in advance. This way you can plan a full year in advance. So what you do here is it's got the times through the day broken down by half-an-hour slots. You can get different ones. You can find one that works best for you, but this I found works best for me and the people that I coach. So all I do is when I have an appointment that I need to schedule, or I have a meeting, or there's something I need to get done, a phone call or paperwork, whatever it is, I'll actually put it in a specific time on a specific day. So then I know exactly what's coming in the future, and I can forget about it. So suppose today you give me a call, and I don't know your name offhand, but suppose it's John. And you say, you know what, Todd, I need to meet with you Thursday afternoon. Today's Monday, the 13th, And I just picked a random week here, but suppose today is Monday the 13th, and you need to meet with me on the 16th at 3:30 in the afternoon. So what I'll do is I'll just write, and I'll use a bit of a shorthand here that I use, and you can do it in whatever way works best for you, but John and meeting. And you can also put the location down too if you want. If you're out of the office quite a bit and you're not sure where the meeting is going to be. I'll often do that. If someone will say, I'll meet you at a certain location, I'll write that in underneath. Because our appointment's going to take probably at least an hour, I can use the next line as well because I'll be done at 4:30. And I'll do that well in advance. You can schedule things 2 months, 3 months, 4 months down the road. And then what happens is you can actually forget about what you scheduled. And here's why. Let's shift back, and I'm going to talk to you face to face. Okay, let's take a quick look. Here's how you can forget about things once you've got it scheduled in the book. Scheduling it in there is not rocket science. So I've already explained how I do it, and I've shown you how I've written it down and some of the little key points to getting some of the details in there. That's not rocket science. I don't need to go into any more detail for you on that. If you have any questions, you can always feel free to email me. My email's in the book, and ask me any questions you want. Now, if you don't see the email in the book, my email is todd@bootsonthegroundcoaching.com. todd@bootsonthegroundcoaching.com. Feel free to email me, and if it needs to be a phone call, we can exchange phone numbers, and you can get in touch with me that way as well. But here's what I do. On a daily basis, there's a daily way that I use my day timer. A weekly and a monthly. So daily what I'll do is I will open up my book in the morning. As soon as I get there, usually before anybody else shows up on site, so that I've got a few minutes of quiet. Or if it's in the office, before anybody shows up in the office, I'll sit down for a few minutes and I'll go over my day. I'll look through what's going to be happening, who I'm meeting with, what's coming, and just the different appointments that I might have and the things that I need to get done for the day. That gives me the chance to get a handle and a grip on my day so that I'm not surprised. Now, emergencies happen, unexpected things take place, people pop in, people jump in, people have panic attacks and need to get a hold of us, and mistakes happen. And so we have to deal with those things. But if we have it written down and we review them in the morning first thing, we know that we've got either have the time in the day, or we know that we're going to have to reschedule some things when those emergencies happen. So I review it first thing in the morning before I start my day. And then I'll review it at lunch, or if I have a super busy day, sometimes even mid-morning. I don't always take a coffee break, but if you do, that's a great time to just take a 30-second look through how's your morning going, what's coming for the rest of the morning, and what's coming in the afternoon. Now, lunch is a great time to take in 60 seconds. Doesn't have to be long. 60 seconds just to go over what's coming in the afternoon. What's in your afternoon? What do you need to be aware of? What do you need to start thinking about so that you're ready for it? And then what I'll also do daily is sometimes if I know the next day is going to be busy, I will, or a heavy day, or there's some things that I'm not quite sure of, I'll just take another minute or two in the evening before I go to bed to take a look at my day. What that does, and there's some science behind this, when we review something before we go to sleep at night, our mind keeps working on it. Our subconscious is still at work. Even when we're sleeping, our conscious mind is sleeping, but our subconscious keeps working on it. So our subconscious mind keeps working on it, even when we're sleeping. So that's a good thing to do every night, is just to review the coming day. Now weekly, either Sunday night or early Monday morning before the day starts, preferably Sunday night, I'll go over my coming week, day by day. And that gives me a really good perspective on what's coming. I'm not surprised by the things that happen during the week. I'm not surprised when Monday morning all of a sudden somebody says, do you have this ready? And I'm like, I totally forgot. I don't have those moments because I reviewed it Sunday night. And I know what's coming. I've got a really good sense of what my week is going to look like. Now monthly just gives us the opportunity to do that a little bit on a little bit broader scale. So we know what our month is looking like. And that way when someone comes to us and says, give me some of your time, when we practice these three approaches, daily, weekly, monthly, we have an idea of, you know what, today is not a good day. I don't have to say that out loud, but we can keep it up here and we can ask, you know what, can I meet with you tomorrow? Today is a really packed day for me, and I'm wondering if tomorrow morning would work. Most people just want to know that we're going to make the time for them, and they're okay with that. But that gives us the opportunity to schedule them in when it works for us. So we still may need to meet with them, but we're going to schedule them in on our time. Now, in a few chapters down the road, we're going to talk about something that a former president of the US used to prioritize his schedule. And that way we're going to be able to decide whether we're going to actually meet with that person or whether we're not. So we're going to look ahead, but we're kind of jumping ahead of ourselves on that one. But the most important tool that I was given from an administrative perspective was a day timer, a day planner. It's easy to use. You don't have to use the one I have. It's just an example for you. But that's what this chapter is about. It's going to give you control of your time so that people aren't walking into your office and saying, give me your time, give me your time, give me your time, give me your time. And we're going, okay, sure, how much do you need? Because we don't have a clue of what's going on. But when our time is under control, when we're in control of our time, and we know what we've got scheduled, what's coming up, what we've committed to, and you know what, it could just be, I've slotted in 2 hours to do paperwork or 2 hours to do planning this afternoon. All I need to tell people is my schedule's booked for those 2 hours. They don't need to know what I'm doing in those 2 hours. They just need to know that I'm committed for those 2 hours and it's not open for anybody. Take control of your time. That's one of the most important things we can do as a leader because it lets us respond deliberately and thoughtfully to the things that happen in our workplace and with the people that we're leading. So we'll see you in chapter 4. We're going to talk about something that I call a running list, and it helps this whole idea of a day planner become far more effective than it is all on its own. So I'll see you in chapter 4.